significant night on the way because the two top teams in the Engage Super League are in action. Right now, the Saints are 6 points adrift of the Rhinos. Hull KR inside the 6, and a finish in that position would be a remarkable effort from a team that was simply happy to survive in 2007. Here are the teams tonight, and it's the Saints with Helens at fullback, Gardner, Gidley, Tallow, Melly, Price and Long. No surprises there. The forwards, Kalis, Cunningham the skipper, Graham, Flannery, Wilkin, and the return of Paul Sculthorpe in the forwards. And on the bench, Roby, Hargreaves, Clough and Farsavalou for the coach Daniel Anderson. Now Rovers, Briscoe at fullback, then they go Fox, Webster, Fitzhenry and Steele, Cook and Dobson. Forwards, Crossman, Fisher, Vella the skipper, Newton, Jean and Chev Walker. And the bench occupied by Mills, Cockayne, Netherton and Chester. The coach is Justin Morgan. And Rovers making their first visit to Knowsley Road in 15 months. They have lost on each of their last 11 visits. Their last victory here, February 1985, in a Challenge Cup tie. Gary Clark's try sealed an 8-3 win and ended Mal Meninga's dreams of playing at Wembley. Incredibly, they've won just 2 of 38 Paul Swore visits to this ground. Their only win coming on April the 4th, 1982. Phil Hogan 2 tries in a 28-16 victory. They're keen though tonight. They're out first here at Knowsley Road to face the St Helens, and they're meeting for the second time in 6 days. And this top 6 encounter is every bit as important as last week's Challenge Cup quarter-finals. They've topped 30 points of the Saints against Hull KR in 9 of their 11 straight wins at home, and they won 29-0 on one of the other 2 occasions. Saints fans in fine fettle because they extended the winning run in the Challenge Cup to 3 years with their 24-18 victory at Craven Park. Rovers did have a couple of tries disallowed, and the victory came a couple of years after St Helens beat Hull KR. They were then in the National League in a cup semi-final at Huddersfield. The result that day, 50 points to 0. Phil Bentham's the man in charge on this sunny evening in St Helens. And the fact that it was 50-0 2 years ago against Justin Morgan's Hull Kingston Rovers, last week it was a 6-point margin, Steve-O, indicates the remarkable turnaround in fortunes that Justin Morgan has engineered up there in East Hull.
Certainly has. He's recruited well, and none more so than the Michael Dobson return to this country. The fascinating contest between Dobson and Sean Long will be interesting indeed, as will Jake Webster against the big frame of Willie Tallow in the centres.
Saints then with first use of the football, and it's James Graham who is met by a big tackle by Chev Walker and Michael Vella. Here now is Jason Kalis, the New Zealand international prop forward. Missed the first 8 of this year, but back for 9 of the last 10. And Crossman all over the top of Chris Flannery, just trying to slow the Saints' game plan down at the play of the ball. That was Vella on top of the grounded Saints man in the tackle. 2 more managed to pull Kalis down on the last. They're just over halfway. It's with Long, and now it's with Price, and up goes the kick, and the sun is shining straight down the face of Sean Briscoe, but it doesn't matter to him.
Easy beat for Briscoe there, stood his ground. A little bit too long there from Sean Long, got the height but not high enough to make sure that the onrushers could get anywhere near him. Just took it so completely indeed. He's solid as a rock, is Briscoe.
St Helens perhaps a little lucky to win in the Challenge Cup last week. One of the areas that they will want to improve is their kicking game. Hull Kingston Rovers, through Dobson and Cook, were far the better, both tactically, accurately, and in putting pressure on their opponents, as the first penalty here now for offside goes against St Helens.
It's a shame for Saints that, because it was a wonderful tackle by John Wilkin. He stopped the Rovers runner dead in his tracks, but Phil Bentham catching them all offside on the left-hand side. Good deep kick from the penalty, and here's Hull Kingston Rovers' first real opportunity of the night. Ben Fisher is the man at dummy half, and here is Michael Vella, their captain. 3 meters short of the line. Vella gets to his feet. Fisher again shows it to Walker, gives it to Walker, and Graham is there to halt the progress of the man playing at loose forward tonight for Hull Kingston Rovers. Right underneath the sticks, Rovers, with Fisher on the half volley to Dobson. He finds Briscoe. St Helens muscling up in defence as they have done so often over the past 3 years under Daniel Anderson. Here now is Dobson, gives it a bit of width and finds Cook. Cook then, great ball that was to Clint Newton, and Newton off and wide, but sadly for Rovers a knock on by young Peter Fox.
Opportunity was there. He got halfway across, got a fingertip to it, but Fox just got the second. It was going backwards. Good decision there by Phil Bentham. Golden opportunity though. Interesting to see how Justin Morgan as LKR has got Paul Cook standing way out, Michael Dobson taking the first receiver. That means they're getting 20-30 yards in just 2 passes.
Justin Morgan, family affair with Daniel Anderson. Justin Morgan and Daniel Anderson, brothers-in-law and brothers-in-arms tonight on opposite side of the fence as Kalis drives it forward for St Helens. And the delaying tactics have been spotted by referee Phil Bentham as the penalty to level the count up.
Well, it's wonderful conditions for fast open rugby league football, and that's the reason why the official is saying, come on fellas, get back, no interfering out to play the ball either. There's so much talent out there and the fans want to see the real skills we know that they're capable of.
Graham will play the ball to Cunningham. He showed it to Kalis, he gives it to Long. Long gives it width to Price. Then they find John Wilkin. Wilkin, former Hull Kingston Rovers player, of course, right at the start of his career, and the victim of a high challenge.
He felt that as well, did Wilkin. Went straight into it. Newton did not miss. Clint Newton, the big second rower, he has a problem with that. He has a problem to try to keep the forearm down.
Kalis will drive it forward again for St Helens. Good to see Paul Sculthorpe back in the team tonight. He missed you the last 5, only 4 appearances of the year prior to tonight, and there he is, hitting the ball at pace. That's what he loves to do, and it's now with Long. Here is Price, he finds Flannery, and Flannery drops it, and it's picked up.
Well, good opportunity.
Henry, not Fitz, Jake Webster rather.
Good opportunity just thrown away by both sides. Just a minute before, it's Hull Kingston. They had the opportunity. You can see there Flannery trying to offload in impossible situations, and Mr. Bentham's come with a whistle tonight.
I think the sign was markers not standing square at the play of the ball.
Little doubt about it.
Cunningham just took a step a little too early. Here is Stanley Jean. Stanley Jean, whose autobiography, Daydream Believer, will be in the shops in June the 27th, and he is a daydream believer, is Stanley.
Certainly is. I wonder if he's got his birth certificate in it.
I don't think so. Knock on by Chev Walker. St Helens gobble up the possession. He's probably as old as our guest tonight, John Keir. Stanley?
Yeah, they certainly still playing some good rugby league, and it's been a fascinating opening because both teams have traded penalties, both teams have showed their mettle with their online defence, and I think both teams have missed a half chance as well, so cracking opening.
And it's St Helens night, isn't it? Sun shining, pitch dry. They like to play open and attacking rugby league, and that's what they're trying to do here with Cunningham. Helps it on to Wellens. Wellens shrugs off the attention to Paul Cook. An important tackle by Ben Fisher. Quick play the ball though. This is Flannery. Flannery wide to Gardner. Had to pluck that out of the air. Brushes away from Steele. Gets the ball to Flannery. Thrilling stuff when they're in this mood, but can they keep it going?
Got to have some height with the sun.
Long, a dink over the top, looking for Wilkin, running onto it. Picked up by Peter Fox, right on his own line. Collared by Leon Price. Daniel Anderson not happy with that last play.
Well, he's not happy with mainly you mentioned the fact that the sun's right in the eyes of the Hull Kingston Rovers players. He needed height on that kick from Sean Long, not a little dink over the top.
Crossman bounces off Graham, gets as far as Cunningham. Fisher. And here is Michael Dobson. Gets the ball away to Stanley Jean. Long has missed him, but Matt Gidley didn't. Fisher again, in centre field to Cook. Newton. They go further towards the right-hand side with Fitzhenry. Fitzhenry gets it out to Fox on that far side, but Francis Melly was in no mood to let him get past him.
Great defence there. You could see there, Willie Chalau says, you go out, do not move away from your position. Great combination between Talau and Melly. Centre and winger, you've got to have that conversation going at all times.
Eddie, you've said that it's great conditions for St Helens, but of all the teams in Super League, Hull Kingston Rovers love to shift the ball to both the left and right wing. We've seen them early on in this game continue a tactic that they employed last week. Not quite successful enough to put them through to the semi-final of the Challenge Cup, but they'll continue to go to Hull Kingston Rovers right and attack Talau and Melly.
Long waiting for the opportunity, and here he is. Picks the ball up, first receiver, then finds Leon Price. Dummett to make the pass, found Wellens. Wellens gets it wide to Francis Melly. Melly back on the inside, gets the ball away, and Wellens drops it again.
Just
so we've had 8
force.
minutes and we've had plenty of mistakes. Lots of thrills, but plenty of mistakes.
Just shows you the way that St Helens like to play. That was knocked out. That certainly was knocked out by a Hull Kingston Rovers hand. Quite clear as far as I'm concerned, one-on-one, but did it go backwards? He's not happy, Daniel Anderson.
There's a massive test for several teams this weekend in whether there is a Challenge Cup hangover. What effect has it had on your side progressing through to the semi-final? What effect has it had on your side being knocked out of the Challenge Cup? Both of these sides played one another amazingly last week, innit? We'll get to see what effect it's had. Do Hull KR have a hunger and a revenge determination here tonight?
Man who can answer one or two of those questions maybe is John Keir tonight, who has led his Wakefield Trinity Wildcats to the semi-finals, first time in 29 years. John, what effect does the placing in the semi-final have?
Well, I don't think it should have any effect whatsoever, because you've got 7 rounds of Super League. That's a quarter of the season between the quarter-final and semi-final. And if you do let it affect you, it could well spoil your Super League season. So I think it's business as usual, and focus is on the immediate, and that's Super League.
That's what St Helens and Hull Kingston Rovers are doing here. Rovers, of course, in particular, because they have made it into the top 6. And they're trying to stay there. That's good defence from them.
But you can see 5 involved. If you can get a quick play of the ball, they're hanging around. Surprisingly, the ref has not pulled them up from that. I get the impression that Daniel Anderson has sent the word out, keep it away from the forwards, let's keep it moving out wide.
It's now Willie Talau, little skip in front of his marker, and Fitzhenry does well to come back and bring him down. Long again at the heart of everything so far. Wilkin can't get away though. Good scrambling defence from Hull Kingston Rovers there. Here now is Long, shaped to kick, gave it to Price instead. He dabs it towards the in-goal area. That is too strong, and the ball trickles dead. 20-metre restart for Hull Kingston Rovers.
Put under a lot of pressure there, Saints. They're a little bit on the panic button at the moment. There's one thing keeping the ball alive, but make sure of possession, make sure that when it comes to the last, you've got to get a good kick away. You've got to get to repeat 6 if possible.
First 10 gone, first injury news, Bill.
Yeah, Justin Morgan's rearranged lineup has already had to be arranged again because of the wrist injury to Chev Walker. He's already off the field. Walker playing at loose forward today, and Chris Chester has had to come on. And the word is that it is an ongoing problem for Chev Walker. He's back in the dressing room at the moment, having it seen to, and they're hoping that they can fix it up and get him back out there.
That was a wonderful, wonderful penalty that got such depth from Paul Cook, and it really did produce a chance then for Rovers, but I think it's Wilkin to the rescue for St Helens. Wonderful run forward by Clint Newton. He was stretching the arm out and underneath he came. Was it Wellens there as well? Yes, it was.
Just got underneath the arm, didn't get for the football. That's why it's been deemed as a knock-on, and it'll be a head and feed to Saints. That's the second occasion they've been put in. The penalty, it was kicked so deep that actually Saints were nearly caught out, because if Melly had been right back, he could have caught that on the full.
This is Gidley again. It's a penalty for offside against Hull Kingston Rovers now, much to the delight of the St Helens support, as you can probably hear in the background.
Much to the delight as well of one Mr. Flannery. Chris Flannery was trying to offload that ball, And Kieran Cunningham had knocked on just at the moment that the official was giving the penalty. We need to try, settle things down. 2 balls on the pitch.
So Gidley will restart. Gidley had a try disallowed at Craven Park in the Super League in February that would have won the match. St Helens believe that their pocket was picked there because although they haven't got a very good record on their travels against St Helens, in 2008 Helkingston Rovers have beaten St Helens this year in Super League, very early in the campaign. Long meets firm resistance from Paul Cook.
Problems for Flannery. He looks as though he's got a bad leg. He's calling for assistance.
Price looking to jink his way through the line. Leon Price gets the ball away to Paul Wellens. And Wellens trying to power his way to the line is halted by Briscoe and by Chester. Cunningham is a couple of metres away from the line. Will he be tempted? No.
Oh, Scully's dropped it.
Lost it.
He was dipping down at the last moment. And he's just saying to his colleagues, it wasn't the best pass. Just dipping down.
Just overran it.
Yeah.
What's that? Say it again.
Frustration written all over the face of Daniel Anderson.
Paul Sculthorpe thought he might have been back in action last week in the cup tie. He was a little frustrated that he wasn't named in the 17. But here he is, back in the Engage Super League tonight. More injury news, Bill.
Yeah, it's all happening down here. As Steve-O pointed out, Chris Flannery picked up a knock. It's the left knee that he immediately fell to his knees, in fact, and then got back up again and was rubbing his left knee, signalled to the sidelines, physio on very quickly, Flannery off very quickly.
So changes being enforced on both coaches. Chev Walker off for Rovers and Flannery off for Saints.
We'd have to say that both defences are pretty happy with themselves. It's been a real roughhouse affair out there. Some of these flat passes that either side are producing, they're hitting the wall very hard.
Dobson with the kick downfield is grabbed by Aidy Gardner. The leading try scorer in Super League, Gardner, 15 touchdowns this year. Try in each of his last 8 appearances as he plays the ball to Cunningham. He finds Wellens, who in turn finds Melly.
What was so clever there about what Aidy Gardner is positioning for the kick? Most when you stand on or close to the sideline, he came 10 or 15 metres infield, making it almost impossible for Dobson to land the ball on the floor. And now his team get a penalty. They earn a penalty, I suppose, through Melly's desire to get up and play the ball quickly. And look where they find themselves.
It's been evident from the very first minute, though, Phil, that Hull Kingston Rovers have come here tonight with the intention of trying to slow St Helens play the ball down.
Well, it's something that all teams try to do when they travel here. They know how wonderful rugby league football they can produce, the Saints.
This is Wilkid again.
2 feet. 4 feet.
And Cunningham is waiting. He finds Paul Clough.
Will Cunningham going to solo?
Well, he's very close again, isn't he? Just a metre away this time. Gives the ball instead to Long, who finds Price, who finds Gidley, who finds Gardner. 16th try of the season for Gardner. Top try scorer in Super League. In great form is Aidy Gardner. A try in each of his last 9 appearances now. A decisive try against Hull Kingston Rovers last week. He missed Hull in Super League the week before, but he has come back, and there he is. 16 minutes, 16 tries, and Aidy Gardner gives St Helens the lead.
Good tactics by Saints. They pull the defence right into the corner, and then they have the overlap. What a wonderful season.
It's not really that detailed. Does it say anything about
Gidley and Gardner are having? The combination is quite superb. Just had enough there to get on the outside. John Steele just been sucked in by the wonderful pair of hands by Matt Gidley. What a combination it has been. We've seen over the past 5 or 6 weeks the quick hands of Gidley. Nothing short of superb.
Well, now Sean Long, he's 29 metres away from the post, 7 degrees to aim at. That's the degree of difficulty. And Sean Long His next try, by the way, will be his 150th for St Helens. A try and 4 goals last week, and his first goal of the night here. It's 6-0 to Saints.
It's all about making sure that your opposition is unbalanced. Look how you can see the winger John Steele is looking at Gidley, and by the time the pass is gone, he cannot get across. Superb hands, a wonderful St Helens try yet again.
Very, very important, isn't he, Matt Gidley, to this St Helens team. They all thought that when Jamie Lyon went, who would they replace him with? I think he's been sensational. His line of run there was excellent. He took both Dobson and Steele out there with the line of run and then the skill with his quick hands. Superb centre play.
And a good try for Eddie Gardner, 16 for the season, as I say. Remember in 2006 he played here in an international for Great Britain as Helens gets another penalty.
Well, if this carries on, the official, Phil Bentham, surely has to call the captain.
He's just going to make the point about, let's have a look at this again, as they lie all over him, try and halt him and slow them down. It's Chris Chester, the culprit then. Just going to make the point about Eddie Gardner. 2006 he played here in that international against New Zealand, and he was the only Great Britain international, other than James Graham, who didn't go for other reasons, who was not selected for the Tri-Nations in 2006. He has come back in 2008, bigger, better and stronger, and I fancy Tony Smith might be including him in his squad for England in the World Cup.
I think he's one of the first selected on the plane, if he can keep up this form throughout the rest of the season.
That tackle was not completed. Price was able to get up, and he gets the ball away, and they have another penalty, St Helens. And it's now mounting, I'm afraid, the count. Here's Clough on the drive, first tackle, and they were hanging back then, Hull Kingston Rovers. Good run from Clough. Justin Morgan, a bit frustrated, a bit worried maybe, because St Helens pressing, and looking dangerous. Wilkin, Gidley. Little hop, skip and a jump before he reaches the defensive line. Plays the ball to Helens, to Long, and Leon Price. Price straightens it up, looks to get the ball away out the back door, decided better of it, played it quickly to Cunningham. Here is Graham, this is Kalis, good tackle.
Oh, what a tackle there.
Great tackle by Stanley Jean. Cunningham again, here's Clough. Clough trying to wiggle his way to the line. 5 tackles gone. Sculthorpe, Gidley, oh, brilliant again. Fantastic flick out the back door from Gidley to Gardner. He did that last time we saw St Helens. A wonderful pass. And a repeat performance. That was up at the KC Stadium against Hull. This is at home against Hull Kingston Rovers. And Eddie Gardner, that's 17 tries now. And Gidley is the man who has created many of them.
Well, John Keir mentioned it. A lot of people here thought perhaps they could not get anybody as good as Jamie Lyon. Perhaps what they don't realise is that Matt Gidley was the man that Jamie Lyon took his pass from. His action, the ability to suck in the defender and then offload with one hand. This is the man that started it all. Jamie Lyon copied him. You're looking at the master, and boy, is it pretty to watch. That is sensational.
It certainly is, and Gardner is benefiting from having this man inside him, and it's remarkable. It's something maybe that Warrington fans thinking about the form of Matt King this year might remember. Matt Gidley didn't start off too crash hot when he came over here a couple of years ago when he filled in for Jamie Lyon. Boy, he's playing well now, and Long's kicking well, and St Helens are 12 up. Sean Long with a wonderful conversion to Eddie Gardner's try.
Copybook of the first try, you can see there they've both gone for him. John Steele perhaps had no option really, and he will be wondering how on earth did this fella receive that pass from Gidley.
It's very difficult to defend against St Helens, particularly when you're on your own line. I suppose the biggest problem with Rovers with the 2 penalties they conceded and the missed tackle from Paul Cook. But John Steele has a massive learning curve in the next 60 minutes or so, Eddie. It's Easter Monday, the last time he played on the wing in the first team. Here's a bad tackle part from Clint Newton.
Well,
the referee's going to have a look at this.
Helens has not moved. The referee has already said it's a knock on.
Looks pretty bad.
Oh, that's a bad one. And then he's gone down with the elbow, with the forearm into the face. He hits him first and then finishes him off. Oh, that's shocking.
I think the forearm is worse than the first.
It doesn't matter. It's a double whammy, isn't it?
I don't think that's a bad tackle.
Not the first, I think.
The first not, yes, the first is not a bad tackle, I agree with you.
Yeah, but it's high, Phil.
It's the second one tonight that he's had a little bit of a swinging arm. He was penalised before, and he hasn't been penalised for this, but...
It's a problem that he has.
They're not working on his head, by the way. They're working on his legs. Because I think there's an almighty tangle of bodies there, look.
The first impact is definitely on the shoulder, then into the face. It is a nasty one. Impact onto the shoulder, but then it's still high.
But it's his leg that is causing the problem. Fisher was all round the legs. I think the referee's just put that on report. He has.
Well, he's every right to.
But if he's put it on report, does that mean he gives the penalty, or does he just carry on with the scrum?
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Looks
because
like he's just carrying on with the scrum.
Yes, he doesn't have to penalise the move, puts it on report. The indication is he hasn't seen it clearly. And it's Jason Kalis' right knee that seems to be the biggest problem for him at the moment.
Well, it's a shame for Kalis because he has come back bigger and stronger and better than ever, and that was a real collision, and you can see the pain. And I mean, they don't stay down, rugby league players, and act like that unless there is a serious problem.
Jordan sorted it out.
Well, it didn't do it any good either with the fact that the forearm that went through.
Yeah, but I don't think he's brushed that aside himself.
Yes, he
he's
has.
more concerned about his legs.
What was that, James?
Kalis is, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Mr. Newton might be wondering what will occur after this. He is on report, and rightly so from what we've seen.
Clint Newton.
His tackling style has always been awkward throughout this season.
He's just focusing on Jason Kalis. This would be a massive loss. You know, most people assume Leon Price, Sean Long, Kieran Cunningham are the key elements of St Helens, but I think James Graham and Jason Kalis are the first two players that the coach would want to be available for selection. Graham has been outstanding lately, and Kalis has probably taught him some of the tricks that he's picked up.
I think also, Phil, I think St Helens' form has obviously picked up as the season progresses when Jason Kalis has returned, but when they had Kalis missing and Nick Fozzard, they really missed that go forward, and perhaps James Graham was being asked to do too much, and it's significant that the form's picked up as Kalis has returned, and it'll be a big miss if he's taken off tonight and can't return.
Well, when Fozzard and Kalis weren't there at the start of the season, you're right, St Helens were very inconsistent, weren't they?
Well, this man that we just had in the
Lost 5 out
screen,
of 10.
James Graham, was having to do 80 minutes. He was taking virtually a pack on his own, and he didn't shy away from it. He has been so consistent this year.
In all of this talk, we are, of course, waiting for Jason Kalis to be taken from the field, and sadly he will leave the scene for the time being, and let's hope it only is for the time being, on a stretcher, and away he goes now to warm applause from the four sides of this ground. But this could be a major blow to St Helens, with the pursuit of leads at the top of the Super League table, and of course in the Challenge Cup as well, with them being paired against the Rhinos in the semi-finals in 7 weeks' time. The medical team will be giving Daniel Anderson the report, and it will be a critical report, believe me. At the end of it all, Hull Kingston Rovers have head and feet at the scrum, and this is Daniel Fitzhenry. That's Peter Fox. Here is Dobson. He finds Garrett Crossman.
Important now, St Helens do not lose control. Don't give away silly penalties, try to square it up.
This is Chris Chester.
We should guarantee when Mr. Newton gets a football, they might get around him.
Now Michael Vella Driving the ball in, Vela. He's extended his contract last week. He's at Rovers till 2011. Now it's Cook. Here's Grossman again. That's wonderful defence. Ball bounces in front of Paul Cook. It's play on. Chester, wide ball. Great tackle by Adi Gardner. Ball in touch. And I think this is going to be head and feet to St Helens.
Great positioning by the winger there. And not surprisingly, he gets a tap on the back. You've got to make sure when you come over and you leave your winger out. He had the overlap there, no doubt about it. Peter Fox would have had an easy chance, Seals should I say, would have had an easy chance to have snuck into the corner.
Well, a fabulous 23 minutes has been enjoyed by Adi Gardner. 2 tries and a very telling tackle.
Yeah, we speak about Eddie Gardner's try-scoring ability, which is obviously immense. But what's impressed me this season has been his improvement with his defensive decision-making and under the high ball. I think he really is maturing into an absolute quality wingman.
Offside here at the play of the ball again against Hull Kingston Rovers. The 7th penalty that St Helens have received. And here is Hargreaves. What a turnaround in this. There's another penalty, you know. They've come here on a mission to slow St Helens down. It's Price and it's Sculthorpe. And he gets them to within 12 metres of the Rovers line. Well, they're doing their job, Rovers. They are slowing St Helens down in the tackle and the play of the ball.
Good tackle as well by Clint Newton there.
Sculthorpe, back it comes to Gidley. He'll take one himself this time. It's the Gidley Gardner show, double G for St Helens. Outstanding play. Justin Morgan will be concerned about the increasing penalty count. He will now be concerned about the increasing scoreboard clicking away against his team, because Matt Gidley, he has come up with only his 3rd try of this year, but he got 17 last year, a career best. He's a quality player.
You're right, Eddie, it's the G-force so far. Good offload from Sculthorpe there, and Justin Morgan will not be happy with the way that their defensive line went on the angle. That was very poor indeed. I'm not taking anything away from the quality of Gidley to scamper over for the try, the 3rd so far in this game. But Justin Morgan knows that he's going to have a few problems. It's one thing slowing the man with the football down, trying to turtle him. There's been so many Hull KR players being dragged into the middle that all St Helens are doing out now is passing the ball out wide, and they're getting the overlap.
Well, Long, he kicked one from out here just before, and he has kicked another. 3 from 3 for Long, 18-0 to Saints.
And fully deserved. It is now a big problem for the Rovers. A few of the players' heads have gone down slightly.
Marvellous to see, Steve, although that Paul Sculthorpe has been the provider for Gidley twice in the 3 tries up to now, and I'm sure he'll be feeling very, very pleased with his contribution for these first 25 minutes.
Yeah, don't hex him, John. He's getting to dangerous territory now, Paul Sculthorpe. 26 minutes in the past, he has departed. There's David Mills on the field, and Father Jim is in the front row of the director's box watching him. Great to see Gentleman Jim at a rugby league game. Again, former Witness chairman, of course. Jim Mills, Witness player, great star, great name of the past. And there's Mills the younger.
Certainly a gentleman, that is for sure, now that he's retired.
Wellens, lovely little chip over the top, but he was taken out. He moved in front of him, it's not allowed. Wellens gets the penalty, bang in front of the sticks.
Got squeezed out there, little doubt about it. They'll go for the tap, they're off to the throw.
I think Justin Morgan's got an easy half-time team talk, hasn't he? It's about the discipline aspect.
Yep. And their defence.
Long again. Oh, interceptions! And it's been picked up there by Webster. And Price gets to him and hauls him down on the halfway line.
Wonderful work by Webster.
Here's Peter Fox.
He put himself, and Webster's
John
injured. Webster is injured as well. This is bad news for the Rovers. Good job for Saints that Leon Price got back in time.
Fisher, Dobson, Cook, Clint Newton, Cook again, Dobson, Vella. The attack has just stuttered a bit after the break from Jake Webster. 20 metres away, Fisher, Dobson to Stanley Jean. He hit that at pace. And Gidley says that he lost the ball. Referee and touch judge disagree. Dobson again, kick over to the corner.
Good one.
Ball is palmed back to Cook. It goes out wide to Fox. Melly misses him. The next two don't. Fantastic defence now from St Helens.
Certainly was. Beautiful pass though. Webster got the intercept and Price got back there in time. Wonderful defence.
Proving today in the opening 28 minutes why they are as difficult to beat at home as ever. Just 2 defeats in the last 25 home League and Cup matches. They've got massive possession in the opposition half here tonight, as you've just seen. Only Leeds in March last year, this year and last July have been the team that has lowered their colours on home soil. Price, what a wonderful little step inside, and Long could not take the pass in.
They were running riot with the Saints and they knew it. Leon Price, he loves the situation like this. When they get a couple of tries under their belt, it's usually when Leon Price puts all the skills in, and Sean Long just couldn't grab it in. Had a little sly look to the standoff, Mr. Price. Could have got that.
Stanley Jean, good offload. Oh, off Dobson's
Offside.
shoulder into the arms of Fitzhenry, and offside. He was stood in front. But he was running in front of him after making the pass.
Well, Saints thought that it was just going to be a knock-on. They went together to form the scrum.
I think that's accidental offside, and that would be a scrum. It's a bit harsh giving that.
It's not really, John, because the player caught it, and he deliberately played at the ball.
It's difficult instinctively, though, not to catch a ball. It's flying at you. It's a player's instinct.
Yes, we can have sympathy, but we can't, I'm afraid, change the rules.
Some do.
Roby to Long. Price again. Flicks the pass. Tallow coming in on the angle.
They were looking for the drive to the sticks, then they'll do the link.
Well, they're not so far away from the goal line here with Clough. And the Roby to Long. Showed it to Farsivalou. Gives it to Sculthorpe. Gidley. Dummy half to Long. Long then to Price. Short ball from Price.
Well spotted by Paul Cook there. Good ball and all tackle, it had to be.
Paul Clough with nowhere to go. Murray Farsivalou. Farsivalou with the legs pumping. He's got there. Incredibly. Unbelievable from Murray Farsivalou. I couldn't tell how many he had in his back, but he just kept the legs going. Legs just kept coming up and down, pump, 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 and over the line for the latest try. Murray Farsivalou. Great Britain international twice last year, a try at Hull Kingston Rovers last week, and a try here tonight.
Tremendous effort. They wait for the power play. Some of them were hanging back, including Stanley Jean, and by the time he got any balance, the big fella was through. Mills was the only one that had moved up. You can see Jean came late, but he was off balance. Look at the power in the legs. Boy, that is sheer strength. Spin over, try time. Good position by Phil Bentham. New hairstyle, didn't matter, still scores.
It's a great luxury for Daniel Anderson. They say that they want players on the bench who can make a difference, make an impact when they enter the field. He scored a try with his first touch of the ball last week when he entered the pitch. He's just done exactly the same again. There isn't a better way of making your entrance.
And Long, that's meat and drink to Sean Long. 24 points to 0. Rovers in a spot of bother. Daniel Anderson Well, I don't know whether it's the glittering stars on the field that he needs the shades for. But Justin Morgan has got a couple of problems, his brother-in-law. Hanging kick-off, Leon Price said, that's mine.
To be fair, the scintillating pace that Saints have been playing so far in the first 30-odd minutes has been absolutely classic. Good basic hard work from the forwards, get them in a good position. This is another thing that Saints are very, very keen on, is their ability to get to the halfway line, at least when it comes to the final kick.
They seem to do it on, well, with monotonous regularity. There they are now on tackle number 4, and that is the halfway line. Roby waits. Price. Varsavalu, it bumped out of him, and it was knocked forward.
Yes, it was a forward. Well spotted there. Varsavalu just could not take it in. Maybe a little bit too relaxed in regards to keeping the ball alive on that occasion. At 24-0. You know, it's as though, John, I just get the impression that St. Helens, their coach Daniel Anderson, it's like playing 2 games. It's as though the halfway line is a try line.
Yeah, I think obviously they concentrate on the goal forward from their own half, but it's very impressive because they've got so many people around the ball carrier as well as support. And it obviously, as a defensive line, it's difficult to put numbers in the tackle when there's people pushing around, because you never know if the ball will be tipped on or dropped inside or whatever. And it's a real strength St. Helens have.
Jason Netherton's on there. He played the ball to Fisher. He found Dobson. Dobson to Cook. Oh, this is promising. Chester, wide they go. They find Fitzhenry, but wonderful tackle from Talau. Chester to Clint Newton. Gets the ball away. Palmed on then to Michael Dobson. Dobson back to Stanley Jean. Jean has got Long in front of him. Oh, the strength of Stanley Jean. Last tackle.
Wonderful break. Kick into the corner, surely. Dobson screaming for it.
It's with Paul Cook, and they go high to the corner. Bounces off the head of Melly and is gobbled up by Paul Wellens.
He didn't know much about that, Francis Melly, and it just bounced the right way. But they don't mess around, do they? Okay, it came off his head. I'll take the first run-up.
Don't forget tonight the Super League Extra Time following this programme via the red button on your Sky handsets.
He's got to call the captain now, surely.
He is doing. But he's talking to Jason Netherton. I'm not sure he's the captain. Is Michael Bella still out there? No, he's not, is he? It's actually Clint Newton he was talking to anyway. Maybe he is the captain. Now that Michael Vella is off the field.
First move.
Good to see Lee Crooks, of course, but not with a face like that. He's got a face like thunder, hasn't he, Lee?
Second, Chris, come here.
Well, he knows that some of their defensive patterns have just fallen apart.
Yeah, he's at Hull Kingston Rovers, needless to say, on the coaching staff there with Justin Morgan. Not going according to plan tonight, not yet. Good hands from St. Helens and good strength. Look at that. Here's Clough. Managed to repel 3. Keeps hold of it.
It's okay.
Roby.
5, 2 feet.
Will they go the power play again, or will they opt for the kick?
Going for the power play with Hargreaves. Kick over the top. Oh, the ball is dropped. The referee gives the knock on against Hull Kingston Rovers. There is more pressure coming in here. Head and feet to St. Helens.
Did he tackle him in the air?
It was pretty close to it.
Scrum, lads.
Ooh, 50-50.
Actually, that's another offside, isn't it?
It's a penalty to Hull KR, actually.
It is.
We have the benefit of 2 or 3 action replays, super slow motion as well, don't we?
Could have been a penalty the other way as well. Man standing in front of the ball when he picked it up.
I don't think Saints will worry to say that the Hull Kingston Rovers forwards are in the pack there.
Long, Price, Wellens. Wellens still Paul Wellens. Just short of the line on the first tackle. Will Roby go on his own? No, he'll give it to Price. Price to Clough. Still Still Clough, and in the end they get him down.
Sean, stay back.
Roby waits again, clapping his hands. Pass to Long.
Great
Good
tackle by
defence.
Cook.
Good
Unbelievable. He read that so well, did Paul Cook.
Stay back.
Now it's Long. It's with Price and Sculthorpe. It's Gidley. It's Gidley. It's McGidley's second try. They are cutting them to ribbons down this right-hand touchline. Gidley and Gardner. 4 tries between them. Gardner the first 2. Gidley the third and 5th. Sandwiched in between Mari Farsavalou. Well, Matt Gidley, what more can we say about him? 17 caps for Australia, 11 times for New South Wales, 2 breaks tonight and 2 tries tonight.
So basic, but so effective. Such hard work, and then you get it out wide. You attack the left-hand side of this Hull Kingston Rovers outfit, and you find yourself well in charge. They just held off. They knew. They thought he was going to pass to Gardner. They did the one before. And Gidley slides over. Glum faces on the travelling supporters. They know they are watching a masterclass at the moment. Very basic, but boy, so effective.
Well, Long has had some difficult conversions out on this right-hand side because of the positioning of the tries by Gidley and Gardner. Can he maintain his 100% record here? Oh, yes, he can. 30-0. It's a one-horse race at the moment. And there's no
Certainly
complaints from that particular part of the terrace.
And there you see the problem. Poor old John Steele is having to be the sandwich. The first 2 tries that Gardner scored, John Steele tried to go in. When Gidley scored, John Steele did the right thing and stand in front of Gardner. They're not sweeping in. The sliding defence is very slow.
They've also conceded 10 penalties, Hull Kingston Rovers. They have taken John Steele off. And St Helens, by the way, have only conceded 3 penalties. And after 10 minutes, Hull are ahead at Headingley, 6-0.
Eddie, coaches are paid to spot problems and rectify them before they become an emergency. I guess at 30 points to 0, maybe we've gone past that stage. But Justin Morgan has the option, perhaps, of swapping Dobson with Cook. I think Cook has maybe got a better chance of containing Matthew Gidley than young Michael Dobson has done in the first half.
First move. Wait.
The biggest problem, Phil, is that they just have had no possession whatsoever. Because every time that Saints have virtually got hold of the football, they've crossed over for the try.
2. Clear him. Wait.
And then it shows you it's one-way traffic at the moment, as the scoreboard tells you.
Great take by Wellens. I think he was in the field of play as he fell over the line. It doesn't matter because the half-time siren has gone. And the perfect 40 minutes for St Helens and their supporters. And 40 minutes that Paul Sculthorpe has lasted. But there's the start of the show. He created 2 for Gardner. He scored 2 for himself. And Farsavalou scored the one that got away from the G-force down the right-hand side. 30 points to 0. St Helens are ahead. 6 points adrift of Leeds at the top of the table before play started tonight. Leeds trailing at home. Could be a significant evening. Half-time here in the Engage Super League. St Helens 30, Hull Kingston Rovers 0. And the news from Headingley doesn't get any better for Leeds fans. Hull FC are ahead by 18 points to 0. So St Helens are looking to gain ground on the league leaders tonight. They began the evening 6 points adrift. If it stays this way, Saints winning and Leeds losing, the gap down to 4, obviously, and battle is joined. Wellens gets us going in the second half. Cockayne was underneath the kick-off.
First. Move that way. Wait, go.
Start of this second half.
Well, Justin Morgan, the Rovers coach, was furious, and we saw there when they had the cameras in the dressing rooms that he was given the rounds of the kitchen, and rightly so. They really did not muscle up, and their defensive pattern was very, very poor indeed. A lot more work is needed.
Mills getting Hull Kingston Rovers over the halfway line. Prop forward out there, prop forward below Stairs here at St Helens. Jason Kalis, big problems for him. Let's hear from them and Bill as Hull KR get a penalty.
Yeah, it's the word from Daniel Anderson is that Jason Kalis has medial knee ligament damage, and it could be, they're hoping it's not, but there is suspicion that it could be cruciate ligament knee damage as well, and very upset about that. Chris Flannery, who also has come off, he too has knee ligament damage, so this is heading for a big win for Saints, but at some cost.
An expensive win indeed. If St Helens do win, Flannery and Kalis, and cruciate knee ligaments, well, don't want to pour oil on troubled waters, but or fat on the fire, should I say, but that could be the end of Kalis' season.
I think you're right. It takes a long time to recover from something like that. Rovers need to score very quickly.
That's a great little jink from Dobson. Last tackle. Good defence again from St Helens, they're on their own line. And Cook will hoist the kick wide, looking for Fox. And, Melly got to it, but just fumbled it over the line, so it's going to be a goal line dropout. There is some response to that almighty rollicking in the dressing room that Justin Morgan has handed out by the looks of things.
Well, I think you saw that straight away by the coach would have said to Michael Dobson, you know, we brought you over to really put yourself about and to be constructive, be the architect in attack, and we saw a lot more effort from him on that occasion.
Here's Mills again.
First, and move. Hold.
Fisher is the dummy half. More urgency required by Justin Morgan, and he's getting more urgency at the start of this second half with Michael Dobson. It is good to see him back in Super League, though. Dobson, he was a big cog in the wheel for Wigan when they avoided relegation a couple of seasons ago. Of course, he impressed greatly with the Catalan Dragons.
He's a classic player, and as I say, he's got to start taking control.
Here he is again, off the paths of Fisher. Gets the ball in field to Chris Chester. Last tackle here. Fisher. Stanley Jean went without it. Long picks up the pieces.
That was the 18th consecutive player that Hull KR had possession, and in none of the players really did you ever think that Saints were that challenged in defence. Conceded a penalty, conceded a goal line dropout, but looked so strong defending the line. And I've said several times before, the team that will win the grand final this year are the team with the best goal line defence.
Well, Saints is pretty good. Phil, is it me, or are the St Helens players looking a lot leaner this year?
Well, if you read statements from the coach, it was a conscious effort with the change in the defensive line, players having to go back 1 metre further behind the referee. The side in pre-season lost weight, went leaner, went lighter in an attempt which they think long-term will benefit them. So yes, Eddie, you've got a great eye for a player's weight. Get you a job at Blackpool Pleasure Beach when this game's over.
Well, the laughing policeman. Here is Gidley. And Gidley goes down in the tackle. Actually, if you cross my palm with silver. Kick over the top, not the best, picked up by Fitzhenry. Would you like me to tell your fortune, Steve-O? I can tell you've not lost weight, by the way.
I knew that was coming. Well, it's a more spirited effort by the Rovers, but you can see there that the Saints have upped the tempo in defence. They're so quick out of the blocks.
Oh, here's a penalty for St Helens now. For Hull Kingston Rovers, rather, now.
Just lost his temper, did Sean Long. Just
leave it out.
Offside again.
Swung the arm.
10-3, the penalty count in St Helens' favour at half-time. He's absolutely spot on.
Yeah, they went very, very early, but that is something that they do work on. Work very hard out wide in the centres. They come in on the angle, they force your opposition just to play down that single track down the middle.
5 gone, second half. Dobson. to Cook. Taking them on up the middle, gets away from Hargreaves, not from the next two. And the test coming up of this St Helens defence. Fisher and Chester. Good hit. Long on Mills.
Well, big David Mills couldn't believe who it was that had just ball and all tackled him.
Here's Jason Netherton.
Well, they're asking a lot more questions of the Saints defence as they did in the first 40.
Dobson, Cook. Dab through, played off the foot of Leon Price, so back to 6 again as Sean Briscoe gets the possession back for Rovers. Dobson. It's one-way traffic start of this second half, isn't it? Hull Kingston Rovers wish the match started around about 5-6 minutes ago. Dobson. Here is Mills.
Did well to hang on to that, did the big fella.
They're playing for respect now as much as anything else, Rovers, aren't they? As Cook gets the ball again.
There's plenty of time, Eddie, if they can get a try quickly and then maybe follow it up within the next 5 minutes after that. You never know. I know it's a big ask.
Fisher out the back door, and Clint Newton was clobbered on the deck then by Leon Price. This is the last tackle. Newton didn't like that.
Well, he got a little bit of his own back, didn't he, there?
Dobson's kick is too far ahead of the chasers. Gardner wraps it up again. He doesn't look happy, does he? But having a good day at the office is Justin Morgan.
Oh, was that late by Newton going in there? This is getting a little bit tasty. And Phil Bentham that's a good tackle.
No,
good work from Fox.
Talai went without the ball because Fox was on him.
It was good play by the winger. Put him under pressure, brought out the mistake. It's always difficult though, 30-0 at half-time. Daniel Anderson wouldn't have had to say much in the dressing rooms at the break. Morgan did.
Dobson, short pass. Good defence by Gidley. On number 4, Jake Webster. Mills again. Good offload from Mills to Fisher.
Now, we haven't seen much dummy running from Ben Fisher.
Here's Vella.
That's one more great stuff, isn't it?
Kieran Cunningham. And look the way the possession has switched around at the start of this second half. Cook. Newton. They don't like him. Overall, though, it's very much still St Helens night, as it is where it matters most in the top left of your screen. Fisher. Dobson. Jean. What a good hit.
Great defence.
Oh, Stanley is out.
Just leave him, fellas.
A bit of a bang on the eye by the looks of things.
It's always dangerous when players try to turn a man that's injured, leave it to the professional staff.
I thought it was a clash of heads, but there's no sign of a clash of heads there.
No. Maybe just a spare the finger, the nail, maybe just.
Or Gidley's off Gidley's forearm as he went to effect the tackle.
No, I think it's a stray finger that maybe just have. He's claiming that a finger went in his eye.
Dobson, charged down, and Wilkin has got it back, and Wilkin gets it to Leon Price. But they're not going to stop Leon Price. Incredible. They've been under the cosh for 8.5 minutes. They get the half chance. 5-10 metres away maybe from their own try line. Wilkin managed to get the possession from the charge down and gifted Leon Price his 9th Super League try of the season. Briscoe and Vella led the race to try and cut him down, but Price had simply too much pace. Leon Price, order is restored.
He's had a tremendous season as Leon Price, one of the stars of this outfit, that is for sure. The charge down by Wilkin. The poor effort from Dobson in many ways, really messed around with it. But once this guy got into top gear, nothing was going to stop him. You talk about lean and mean. Leon Price is certainly that. As I mentioned, wonderful, wonderful effort so far. Lifters, he says, and so they should. And isn't it great to see this man back to top form? He surely will be in the England squad going down to the World Cup in Australia later on this year. And when you look through the amount of players that we have playing at the top level, you know, England are looking pretty strong.
Long will not be going to the World Cup. He says there's no turning the clock back as far as his international career is concerned. He adds the extras, 36 points to 0. He got a hat-trick against Wigan in the Cardiff Millennium weekend. He really did turn back the years, but it'll be Leon Price on his own, I think, for St Helens in the half-back department with England.
Yeah, I think you're pretty right there. It'll be a good combination, but we've also got backup, which is something we've never had for quite some time.
Wasn't John Wilkin very composed there? He realised he was being chased down. He just had a glance around, saw who was in support and gave it to the speedster. But I've got to give a rap to Michael Vella as well. I thought it was a valiant chase back for a prop forward.
Leeds on the board at Headingley. St Helens get another penalty. And just about the international scene, by the way, I can tell you that the France-England match in Toulouse on the 27th of June will be seen live on Sky Sports that night. The hows, the whys, the wherefores will all be revealed in due course, but France-England will be live on the 27th of June. Steve-O's looking for his passport, he wants to go.
He won't be looking for his Euros, that's for certain.
Boy, that's a big ask coming from you, John Keir.
Steve-O's got a 50-franc note he's been carrying around with him for years.
At least I've got one.
It's Clough for St Helens. Saints the tackle.
Saints are queuing up for this one.
Cunningham trying to bustle his way over, dragged back. That's Hargreaves. Here is Long on the bounce to Roby. Good tackle that by Peter Fox. Long. Tallow. Good defence. That's one. Melly. Back to Long. Here is Price. Jinks away from Stanley Jean. Dubs it to the in-goal area. Well read by Sean Briscoe.
Cool, calm and collected there. Sean Long knew exactly where to put the ball, and this defence is pretty hard to get down. He was well spotted by Briscoe, put his body on the line. But we mentioned in the first half the amazing talent the Saints have to do. When they get put on their own goal line, they can seem to get to the halfway line over the advantage very easy, and yet you'll see the Rovers struggle throughout.
That's one here for Rovers, and Chester with just a kick to clear the lines, really. To Gardner, infield it comes to Wellens, thinking about the long pass to Melly, makes it a short pass in the end. Back it goes to Wellens. Paul Cook got to him first. There's a lot of that going on tonight. The referee has penalised Hull Kingston Rovers. Plenty for it. This is Long. Here is Roby. Roby thought about the offload then. The arm was free. Had second thoughts. Second tackle. Cunningham. Graham. The runner is Hargreaves! Hargreaves backing himself against Briscoe and company. Down he goes under the challenge from Fitzhenry. Fitzhenry slows him up. The defensive line is set. A little fumble there, but it was off the leg, says Phil Bentham. So Wellens will have a dab. Tackle without the ball. Wellens. No penalty.
Waved away there, and again Briscoe put his body on the line. Not so sure that was the best option there by Wellens. Until in the tackle count. But this is what's so difficult against this Saints defence. Oh, good effort.
Good ball from Chester to Fox. Great tackle from Graham as Wellens funnels back to be the last line of defence. Newton. Ooh, Cunningham. Thunderous challenge. Vella. Trying to walk all over the top of Roby, who held onto his ankle. Last one, kick from Cook has to be good. It goes high. Helens is underneath it.
Amazing. If you saw Paul Helens wanted to take that ball, he turned his back away from the sun to make sure that there was no possibility of him losing it. No chance of losing sight in the sky. Look at that. Tremendous.
Well, he certainly, I called him the best full-back in the world at Hull a couple of weeks ago. One or two raised eyebrows, but he's one of the best. Helens lose it. And here's another brilliant attacking full-back, Briscoe. Quick play the ball to Fox. John, would Daniel Anderson's demand now be keep them out and let's nil them?
I think he'd have wanted to maintain the standard, but there's quite a reversal because Hull Kingston Rovers started with all the ball initially. But he'll certainly have spoken about the 0 on the scoreboard and trying to maintain it, but I also think he'll have spoken about keeping the foot down on the pedal.
Cook shrugs off the challenges, finds Briscoe. Here is Cocaine. Slightly doubtful before the match with injury, and you can see the bandage there on his right leg. That's presumably the problem, but he was past fit to play. And this now is Jake Webster, New Zealand international, top quality signing.
Held! 5, 2 feet. Wait, go.
10 metres away from the line. That was Fisher. This is Dobson. Good ball. Great tackle again in defence from Gidley.
He will be delighting Daniel Anderson this. The online defence of St Helens has really stepped up, and you do feel as if their season is gaining momentum.
Yeah, they're getting into top gear, that's for sure, but it was a good run by Chester. And fair play to the Rovers. They wanted to play the power play rather than go for the kick.
Let's go down to Bill. He's got injury news from Rovers now.
Well, Eddie, it's just a reminder that Chev Walker has been off the field since, I think, about the 4th minute of the game, in actual fact, with that wrist problem, cutting a pretty miserable figure on that sidelines and just about summing up the mood in the Rovers camp. But the fact that he had to come off really did blow Justin Morgan's lineup to smithereens very early on, and he had to rejig things again.
Well, not the best pass by James Graham, just a little bit overexcited. The face says it all. Justin Morgan knew at 30-0 at half-time that they were chasing shadows. They have improved, that is for sure.
Dobson to Webster. Webster's tackled by Sculthorpe and Gidley. Half-time at Headingley. Hull still in the driving seat. Good drive forward there by Netherton, and Super League extra time will give you the final score on that game and at Headingley, plus a match report.
2 feet and wait, go.
This is Fisher. Back it comes now to Dobson. Good ball, and back on the inside to Netherton.
2 feet here.
Chester again. They want to come this way. Dobson does with Cook. Tries to step inside them, but on the last tackle is grounded once again.
Go.
Here is Dobson, good kick, looking for Cocaine, and the ball just skips away, but was helped away. It's a goal line dropout. Melly to the rescue for St Helens to keep the score sheet against Saints blank.
Nice little option there. Cocaine looks as though he's going to get very close to it, but not in the screen, just got the ball there in time. And I must agree with all you guys that Daniel Anderson would have said, let's keep it zip. Do not let the Rovers score.
Cook gives it to Vella, but here they come again.
To be fair, though, to the Rovers, they are building up to it. They're gaining in confidence.
Go.
Fisher to Crossman.
But I think we've got to have switched Paul Cook to taking first receiver, using Dobson out wide.
Penalty here to Rovers.
I'm not so sure that Rovers would be better served by switching him back on the inside. Let Dobson get first receiver.
There's Dobson, here's Briscoe.
First 2 feet on the line.
Well, if they wanted a test for their defence, St Helens, they're getting it at the start of the second half, aren't they? The opening 20 minutes. Briscoe showed it to Cook. Another penalty underneath the sticks.
Well, he's going to call him. He's going to call the captain as well, hasn't he? I mean, he's just turned around.
Cook to Vella. He will score for Rovers.
Yep.
The referee wants to check whether it was on the line or not.
Yeah, he got it on.
He was closer to it than us, he's not sure. This will tell
Spot
us.
on. Round the line. That'll do. Don't have to have all the whitewash, just enough. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is sufficient. Well, the zip has gone, the zero's gone, they've got the 4, can they add the extra 2? Well, that's quite simply a try. Full control, TRY will go up.
Ian Smith is the video referee, and he agrees. A try for Michael Vella. Something for the travelling support to cheer, but at 36-4, merely consolation at the moment. Michael Vella, who has agreed the new deal with Hull Kingston Rovers, wants to be a one-club man in this country.
It was good play there by Paul Cook. See how he just sucks out Leon Price out of the defensive line. It was sufficient. And Vella knew it. Neat pass from Paul Cook. We know his ability with the ball in hand.
Vella was a one-club man in Australia with the Parramatta Eels and has extended his contract at Rovers. Says he wants to be a one-club man in the Super League as well. And Cook has missed the conversion. Well, the nil has gone against their name, which is important because the only time that they were nilled in Super League previously was last June when, guess who, St Helens beat them 40-0 at home. And that was a day that Justin Morgan will want to forget, and maybe tonight is as well.
I don't think it'll make any difference to tonight, but it might make some difference for the rest of the season, particularly if Hull KR are to make the playoffs. The choice of goal kicker, Michael Dobson, we saw 2 years ago when he was playing for Catalan and Wigan. Just what an accurate goal kicker he is. And I suppose there's competition there for Paul Cook in that role, particularly with that miss.
Indeed so. And a little fumble. Grossman comes to the rescue for Rovers.
I think the other thing, Eddie, as well, that Daniel Anderson, Justin Morgan would have said to the players at half-time, look, we don't want to have an embarrassing result. You know, you've got pride, you've been playing well throughout the season, you are a good side, go out there and prove it to yourselves.
Well, they're trailing 6-4 second half. It's a little ragged at times. Vella the try scorer. Castleford Wakefield tomorrow on Sky Sports. Had an email from Phil Hodgson this week, chairman of the Castleford and Featherstone Amateur Rugby League. We're at the Jungle, as you see, tomorrow night for that match. Well, there's a big inter-town amateur competition taking place this weekend. It starts tomorrow afternoon. Just wait while we see what develops here with Webster, because he's got great support with him. He's not going to need them. Yes, he is. Oh, and it's been hacked away. That's offside. Offside by Talau. It was a hack away off the deck, and Talau.
Should that be a sin bin? I mean, it was a try-scoring opportunity.
Yes, it has got to go. It's a professional. This is a professional incident. Not this one. Wonder when he kicks the ball, Gidley it was. Well, he should have had 10 minutes in the sin bin there. Ungentlemanly conduct.
Chance here for Rovers to post a few more points with Paul Cook underneath the sticks. Go back to that news about the amateur competition in a moment, by the way, as we watch Dobson fire the pass to Briscoe, and wide it goes, and that's Fitzhenry.
No way through. Helens says come.
Defence.
Yeah, come to daddy. Wow.
Well, I'm going to reiterate, Wellens is the best in the world, but not on that occasion. Try for Briscoe.
You put the mocker on him straight away.
Well, I don't think that was his try to concede, to be fair. He'd done his job earlier on. Tries given to Sean Briscoe. A try in every other game while he was at Hull. A try against St Helens at home in February. That was the 70th of his career. And here he is again tonight with another try.
And it was a good build-up as well by the Rovers. A lot more confident in this second half. Giving it plenty of air. Beautiful pass there, back on the inside, and then Briscoe got himself involved. It was wonderful work by Paul Wellens just to keep them up, but they were a little bit slack here. That's good. There were 3 men there.
Can Cook add the extras? Yes, he can.
It's amazing. Kicks the difficult one, misses the easy.
36-10. They're leading second half.
They had the numbers there. That was a good effort. Scully went early, he just went underneath him. Not had much opportunity tonight, Sean Briscoe, mainly due to the fact that they've been under the cosh throughout this game. But the first time that they've had any sort of length of possession, they've come up with the goods.
They have. Let me just get this news of the Intertown competition taking place tomorrow, because by coincidence Castleford and Featherstone entertain Wakefield at Loch Lane, which is just round the corner in that Intertown competition at amateur level, just round the corner from the jungle. It starts at 2:30. Might be worth taking a little look if you're on your way to the match, the big match tomorrow night. Got that out eventually, eh? It was a struggle, but we got it there in the end.
Well, it'll be worth going to see as well. There's plenty of young talent out there.
Mr. Keir will have his scouts there, I've no doubt.
Well, the interesting thing, what does Daniel Anderson send out? Does he make it take it a little bit too easy? Will he rest a couple of players? At 36-10, I think he knows he's got the vital 2 points.
Oops-a-daisy! Oops-a-daisy! Wellens to the rescue. He let the barrel bounce. There was two of them going for it. Bit of indecision between him and was it Melly? Anyway, great towering kick. It was between him and Melly. Let it bounce, and then Wellens, bang, out it goes.
Look for all the world that Peter Fox was going to get there and dive in. Wellens' second effort got to it, and then gives Mr. Melly a right mouthful. Must have been because Francis must have shouted that it was his and then stopped.
I think he's as good as anything in Australia, Steve-O, don't you?
Yeah.
John?
He's an exceptional defensive fullback, no doubt about that. He's a very, very good rugby league player. He's an international class rugby league player, but there's some good Aussies as well, you know, Eddie.
I appreciate that. And yes, you're right. I am a little bit one-eyed when it comes to British v Australians.
The fact that you've got to also remember is that when Paul Wellens pulls on the international shirt, he plays well. He always gives 100% and he plays well. He features heavily.
He's a world-class player, Steve-O.
That's a great tackle on Dobson, but he still got it away to Stanley Jean. Good run from Stanley again. John Keir, by the way, gave Paul Wellens the nod for England in the last World Cup.
Yeah, it was
first international cap.
A lot of youngsters played in that competition and have since gone on to greater things. And Paul Wellens established himself as a truly world-class player. He really has.
Thanks, John.
That's the most amazing thing. This crowd really go berserk when there's any hint of a high tackle. And another amazing thing, John, is, you know, you've got a pretty thick CV and a quite impressive one too.
Well, thank you, Steve-O.
He doesn't praise many, John, but you're top of his list at the moment.
That'll soon change, won't it?
Yeah, tomorrow night. This is Sculthorpe.
He'll be happy with his effort as well.
He will, and the fact that he's lasted 67.5 minutes.
Yeah, and his combine well. He's done some good, solid, hard work in defence.
Price. Good stuff. Tower bump. Barge.
Fair play to Peter Fox there. He went in on the angle and tried to bustle him out. Hasn't got the same stature.
Gidley's kick was charged down. It smuggled its way through, but was picked up. Vella, who began the Rovers revival, started this second half. They're leading this second half 10-6, which will be all that Justin Morgan will have asked of his charges, I'm sure. Go out and prove that you're not as bad as a 30-0 scoreline indicates at half-time.
And they've also changed the tactics. They're running a little bit more from dummy half as well. In that first 40 minutes, they never tested the first and second markers.
Good run from Fisher.
High bomb, surely.
Dobson, there it is, goes up high looking for cocaine or steel, and Melly has fumbled another. There's another goal. Oh no, the referee says it came off the Rovers man. It's a 20-metre restart.
I'm not so sure any of them touched it, Eddie. Did they miss it? It's hard to see. It's hard to see with the sun.
Sun gets in our eyes.
You've probably got the record. Your age.
It's called smoke.
You have got the record.
Tallow! Not even an ankle tap could halt Willie Tallow.
What an athlete. Unbelievable.
Roby, quick hands, Wilkin.
Get out of the way, Mr. Cocaine. He just absolutely fended him off with ease.
Long, trying to weave a bit of magic, but Rovers stand firm. Last one, 10 metres away. Roby waits. Price, Sculthorpe, Gidley. Oh, Gardner with the hat-trick. Juggled his way over the line. Hat-trick for Aidy Gardner. First in Super League for Aidy Gardner. A hat-trick. And he gets some service from Gidley, but he had to just hang on to that.
The link by St. Helens is superb. 5 tries have come out on that right-hand side, and all 5 have been touched by the trio of Sculthorpe, Gidley, and this man Gardner. It's been a nightmare on the left-hand side defence for the Rovers. Take nothing away from this man. But glad to be back.
Aidy Gardner has scored hat-tricks previously for Barrow and for St Helens, but that was in the Cup against the Catalan Dragons in 2006. He's 18 tries for the campaign now in Super League. Matt, we have just seen his first ever hat-trick in the Super League competition for that particular young man, Aidy Gardner.
Tremendous. Outstanding combination. We've often said over the years that the great wingers always need a fantastic centre on the inside. And the combination that they've created together, Gidley and Gardner,
Well, 100% so far from Sean Long. Still, he's kept them from all over the shop tonight. 42-10. 3 from Gardner, created by Gidley, and here they are.
This was the first. Super. Caught them on the outside, but perhaps the second one shows the skill and the quality of Gidley. Look at that. And yet again, here comes the juggle. Thank you. Well, I don't know what they need to convince Tony Smith, the England coach, but I must say that Mr. Gardner surely must highlight in the World Cup squad. He's earned it.
A long way to go, he will say, Steve-O, and men in form will go and nobody else, but if it was being picked tomorrow, Aidy Gardner must surely be a candidate. That's a sad sight for St Helens, though. Jason Kales is on crutches. We may, of course, see Aidy Gardner playing for England when they play the French on the 27th of June. Just another reminder, it's live on Sky Sports that night, Friday the 27th. We'll have the details over the next week or so, hopefully in boots and all on Wednesday, but we'll see.
It'll be interesting to see if Tony Smith experiments.
And I mean the details, by the way, of where and when where.
Yes, of course.
Not who Tony Smith is choosing and selecting.
I realise that.
Well, I just wanted to clear it up.
Well, I'm just telling you that I hope we wonder whether Tony Smith will experiment or whether he'll go for the full squad that he knows are virtually on the plane already. Maybe we'll ask him on boots and all.
I think it will be the latter, Steve-O. I think he'll go for as strong a team as he could possibly take.
But wouldn't that have a massive impact, John, on the Super League competition if he does that? I mean, is he entitled? Oh, yes, he's entitled to do it, of course, but do they still have that bylaw? If you have a certain number of players in your team, you can have a game postponed. Your game is being postponed, isn't it?
It is, because it's anticipated that the Catalan side will have about 8 or 9 in the French team. So, but I think games are few and far between at that level, and you pick your best team.
Even though it might just impact on what happens in the domestic competition that weekend.
Well, it's a very important October-November time, isn't it, for the game internationally?
I'm with you, John. I hope he does pick the strongest, the best. At least he'll have an extra few days to get them together and just get the feel of things.
Wakefield Catalan, by the way, will be on the Tuesday night, July the 1st, and that will be live on Sky Sports as well. 8 o'clock kickoff, isn't it, John, that night?
I believe so.
It is.
A bit of a problem for Stanley Jean. Mr. Chester got a little bit of a ticking from the official.
Don't turn up late that night, John. It's 8 o'clock.
God, I got there early to tell you so, for 7:30.
Well, it's 8 o'clock. Cunningham. Good ball. Fassavalu again.
Second move.
Come on, Kieran, give us a solo.
No, he'll give it to Wilkin. He'll give it to Tallow, who will take St Helens to 46 points. Well, Hulkingston Rovers had their 25 minutes, and St Helens have come back and just snuffed them out. And Willie Tallow, that's his 60th try for St Helens.
Not a bad tally. 8 in his last 8 appearances. Pretty good strike rate. It's a very tired outfit, and they were really out on their feet. Wilkin did well just to sucking cocaine, and the sheer power of this man. There was little doubt about Tallow making tonight's game. He's had a super match too. The sheer size of this man could easily be mistaken for a forward. That is for sure.
Paul Wellens is having a pot shot. No goals this year yet. Well, not the best kicker in the world.
I think that missed.
Nearly shattered the corner flag.
We didn't need the video ref for that one, did we?
Well, at 46-10, I suppose you're allowed such luxuries.
Onside.
It's interesting though, isn't it? You've got Matt Gidley on one side with the sort of the silky skills, and then you've got the bludgeon on the other side of Willie Tallow. It's a real contrast in centre styles, and it really complements this St Helens team.
Hull have stretched the lead at Headingley 20 points to 4. We'll have news of that in Super League Extra Time. It follows via the Red Button in-depth analysis and weekend previews, and for the next couple of weeks we'll be back here, Saints Bradford, next Friday at 7:30, and we'll actually be with you on Sky Sports 1 and HD1 until 10 o'clock that night. Sorry, Sky Sports 3 and HD3. Helens goes in for the try. Phil Bentham takes a tumble. St Helens hit the 50, and he's hurt, the ref. He's been injured.
I think he's pulled a muscle. The Porto ref has gone down, and I think it's a pulled muscle job. Has a hamstring gone on the official? Great work though, wasn't it? The build-up superb. Just sheer power. Get out of the way. Kieran Cunningham. Anybody there? Watch to the right. Oh, he gets collided with. Didn't see that. Poor Phil Bentham has been decked by a Rovers player.
Purely accidentally.
Oh, of course.
Now then, he's in front this time. Doesn't shank it this time. 52 points to 10. And with Hull leading at Headingley, it looks like Saints are going to be 4 points behind the Rhinos tonight. Now let me, as we were just telling you then about Saints Bradford, Sky Sports 3 and HD3 next week, and Super League Extra Time will be on that channel. It won't be on the Red Button next week because we're on with you from 7:30 till 10 o'clock. And same will happen the following week when it's Leeds against Saints on Sky Sports 2 and HD2. 7:30 till 10, both the next 2 weeks, and Super League Extra Time on the main channel, not on the red button for the next fortnight. But it will be tonight. So press red after we've finished here, and we'll be with you with more in-depth analysis of this game and interviews with the coaches. Interesting talking to Justin tonight, I think.
Well, let's see if
Is Phil going to be joining us for that, Steve-O, or has he gone home? He might have gone home. He's still quiet. Phil, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm just watching and appreciating what St Helens have done, because it's hard to ignore the scoreboard when you play the game. 30 points to 0 at half-time obviously meant that the game and the result was theirs, but I just thought the defensive effort for the first 10 minutes of the second half, they were under pressure on their own line, and it was as if it was a sudden death playoff game, Eddie, and that they had to prevent Rovers from scoring to keep alive in this game and keep alive for the season. Really, really good effort from them. Mentally, very tough.
Hull Kingston Rovers, biggest defeat in Super League in terms of margin, a 42-point margin against them. In Super League, the full-time siren has gone, it's all over. St Helens have won easily, 52 points to 10. And as I say, the biggest defeat margin-wise for Hull Kingston Rovers, but Leeds are fighting back at Headingley, 14-20. So stick with us on the red button, because we'll have news of that match for you in the half hour after we leave you here, but there's still obviously plenty of time to run in that match at Headingley. All over here, 52 points to 10. The players shake hands.
Pretty impressive performance by the Saints. Even though the Rovers did come back, they had a purple patch just after the restart, where Vella and Briscoe went over for tries, but 3 tries after that, Gardner, Tallow and Wellens just wrapped it up for a wonderful performance that I'm sure that Daniel Anderson will be very pleased about. Justin Morgan, perhaps he can look towards that second half and say, well, we did not embarrass ourselves. They were just absolutely blitzed in that first half, 30-0 at half-time in Saints' favour. So at least the Rovers did buckle down, got through some hard work in the second stanza.
Well, their last victory here was way back in 1985. They've only won 2 of 39 post-war visits now, and that's a big bonus not only for St Helens, but who knows, for England and the World Cup. Sculthorpe is back, and he's lasted a full match. All right, he's been spelled a little bit during the course of the game, but Paul Sculthorpe back for Saints. Price, Gardner, Tallow and Wellens with the tries in the second half for St Helens. Vella and Briscoe with a touch of respectability. Nothing else for Rovers. 52 points to 10. Comprehensive is the only way to describe it. Matt Gidley has been voted man of the match by Steve-O. Gets the champagne and he gets to talk to Bill.
Matt, there you go. Bottle of bubbly for you. Congratulations on a man of the match performance. I mean, a complete contrast to the real tussle you had against this lot last week.
Yeah, I think we're all a bit better and wounded from last Sunday. It was a really good match against Hull KR. We've got a lot of respect for the team, and it was nice to come back home tonight and had blokes like Scully back from injury, which was really nice to see. So it was a good night for us.
Was the intention to go out and make sure that you didn't get involved in the sort of nail-biting finish that you had to have last week?
Yeah, we didn't want to do that because it was a really tough grind last week. So we just wanted to start well and then get into the game, and fortunately we were able to score a couple of early tries, which kick-started us in the game.
Well, I think last time we were here, we were talking to you after A.D. Gardner put on a great performance. He went one better tonight. I mean, it just works like clockwork at the moment, doesn't it? Yeah, it was just nice to be on the end of a few good things. I mean, there's a lot of good work done inside by the forwards, and especially the guys there left-hand side. Willie Tallow was wonderful for us tonight, so it was a nice team effort. Matt, congratulations on a man of the match performance. You get £100 to give to a charity of your choice. Any suggestions? Yeah, I'll give it to a Children's Cancer Foundation, and thanks to Engage for the award. Thanks very much, Matt. Well done. Cheers. Well, coming back into the Saints side tonight, coming back again, was Paul Sculthorpe, and you got through it.
Yeah, I'm sick of doing these comeback interviews. No, it was great to be back out there, and it certainly makes my job easier playing inside somebody like Matt Gidley as well. He was on fire tonight.
On the downside, and you'll know how they feel, Chris Flannery and Jason Kalis going off with apparently both with medial knee ligament injuries.
Yeah, very disappointing. I mean, two influential players for us as well. It just goes to show again it's the nature of the game, and hopefully they're not as bad as thought, and they come back and make a quick recovery.
And I think we probably don't appreciate the contribution that somebody like Jason Kalis makes to this side.
Oh, he's a massive player, and Flano as well. We certainly missed them when they were here. Up to the rest of the guys now to put their hands up and step up to the mark. If they're not going to be playing for a few weeks.
But you're evidence that you can put things back together and come back.
Sure am. I've had plenty of opportunities to do that. Hopefully that's the end of it now. I want to get back into week in, week out rugby.
Well, let's hope so. Thanks, Paul.
Cheers, Bill. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, with Kalis and Flannery suffering injury tonight, it might be a timely return to fitness and hopefully form for Paul Sculthorpe. Certainly a timely return to form in the Super League for St Helens. 52 points to 10 winners tonight, and impressive. They had to weather a bit of a storm at the start of the second half, John.
Yes, they did, and it'd been all Hull Kingston Rovers possession and field position. A great charge down there by John Wilkin, and then just composure to pick out the speedster in the side, and no way that anybody's going to catch Leon Price then. And then we've got Michael Vella, who I think plays particularly well for this team. Lovely piece of skill from Paul Cook, bringing someone out of the defensive line and just putting Vella in on the outside. And then after almost crossing, and a great piece of defensive work from Paul Wellens, they just switch off then to the St Helens. And Sean Briscoe's at fullback is alert enough, is attentive enough to realise that Paul Sculthorpe just goes too quickly. A chink in the defensive line, it's a try. And you could see Paul Wellens was not happy about that at all. But then you could have used the same commentary, couldn't you, for this try as used for many in the first half. Yeah. Sculthorpe, Gidley, Gardner, and my word, they've been sensational down that right-hand side. And then on the other side of the field then, you've got the bludgeon there, Willie Tillau, so powerful, so quick, just forcing his way over. Before I think it's rather fitting, after Paul Wellens made a pig's ear of an attempt at conversion, that he was there on the end of a Kieran Cunningham break, and Phil Bentham cops a bit of a hit there, but he scores under the post and converts it to round off the scoring. Very, very good performance tonight from St Helens. You do sense momentum's building, and they might well be timing it right once again to be playing the best rugby at the business end of the season.
Absolutely, we're over the hump now. We're coming down into the second half of the campaign, and St Helens look ominously good. Michael Vella scored the try for his team tonight, Hull Kingston Rovers. There was a revival in the second half. Let's get his impressions of the game now with Bill.
Mike, having pushed Saints so close last week, to come here and be on the end of that must make it doubly disappointing.
Yeah, definitely. We in there last week all the way for the 80 minutes, and so we lost in the first half this week. Gave way too many penalties, and you give a class team like St Helens that much ball, and they're going to score points, and they did. They put 30 on us in the first half.
Is that just evidence that if you're really not 100% committed here against Saints, then you're going to get blown away?
Yeah, definitely. Not many teams come away with 2 points, and we knew that, and we turned up, and we started okay, but then just penalty on top of penalty gave them that much ball that they scored a lot of points.
You did salvage a bit of pride in the second half, if nothing else.
Yeah, a little bit, but doesn't really help that much.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's on again next week. It's we're just gone halfway through the competition, and we'll regroup and we'll lift, we'll train hard, and we'll be back.
Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Well, he's taken the defeat with dignity, Michael Vella. He scored a try. Hull Kingston Rovers, of course, in the top 6 prior to tonight. They will stay there for the time being, but who knows what the rest of the season has in store. Look at that, talking about what the rest of the match got in store at Headingley. 20 points apiece at Headingley between Leeds and Hull, and I'm told Adam Dykes is in the sin bin, so things will not be easy for Hull for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. Hull Kingston Rovers, John, we've waxed lyrical about St Helens, and so we should. They were brilliant in parts tonight. Rovers, no shame to come here and get hammered.
I think you have to put things in perspective, really, and I think you have to look at where Hull Kingston Rovers were 2 years ago, where they are now, and they're a team on the up, they're a club on the up, and they've hit a blip. I mean, it was a marvellous effort last week, almost turned St Helens over, and you've got to be as focused, as intense as that if you want to challenge St Helens. And they were just off the pace today, and if you come here slightly off the pace, as Michael Vella intimated, you get a good hiding, and that's what's happened.
If you talk to Paul Cullen, he will say that when Warrington came here and lost in the Cup to St Helens, it took such a lot of petrol out of his team. And of course he has paid the ultimate price, Paul, hasn't he? Hull KR must have taken it almost to the wire against St Helens last week, and they have paid the price.
They have, yes, they have this evening, and obviously that's the challenge to Justin Morgan and the rest and his group of players, that they need to get back on board for next week. And I'm sure that they will do. It's a blip, and it's tough for them, but it ain't an easy fixture, is it, after you've gone so close in an intense, tough Challenge Cup tie, then to play St Helens once again. And obviously St Helens, as we've said, Eddie, will look as if they're gaining momentum and improving week upon week.
Indeed. I mean, that's the situation at the top two. Down there amongst the rest of you, I mean, I know that you at Wakefield are thinking about playoff football as well at the end of the season. Have Hull Kingston Rovers got what it takes to make the playoffs?
I think it's a matter of momentum. I think there's sort of 6 or 7 teams all vying for sort of position 4, 5 and 6, and the 6 or 7 teams who could all fill those positions. But it's a matter of gaining momentum. It's a matter of timing your running at the correct time, as we feel St Helens are to challenge at the top. It's also a matter of just being there at the end, so you can just nick into the top 6 at the very end.
Well, I know that you've got a very important fixture tomorrow, and you've done the trick against Terry Matterson just recently, haven't you?
It reminded me of that idea.
I believe he got you in a headlock, didn't he?
Yeah, yes, he did. He did. It was. He's a good guy, he's Terry, and he's done a good job there down at the Tigers, and they'll realise that they'll want us back after the millennium, and also they'll have gained confidence because as the Warrington fixture unfolded, Castleford just finished the fixture in such good form, playing some good rugby league. They'll take great heart from that. They've had 2 weeks as well to prepare, and we're fully aware of that at Wakefield, so they'll be ready, but so will we.
I'm sure you will. I mean, it's a couple of years since Castleford last won back-to-back Super League matches, because of course they weren't there last year, and they're not there last year because of you and your team, so they've got to score. They have
got to score to settle. We've always got reasons to sort of be motivated and to arrive at games ready to play, and we've got ours as well.
I'm sure you have. Look at the twinkle in his eye. He's looking forward to it as we speak. And look at that, 26-22 now. The Leeds Rhinos are ahead at Headingley. And we'll have news of that for you on our Red Button show that follows this immediately. But coming up tonight, more live action on Sky Sports. There's the UK Open Darts, day 2 now on Sky Sports 1.